Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and on today's episode of MFF is drier than a witch's tit, I'm going to be talking about the 7-year anniversary celebration event. What's your favorite key art? Now, I actually really like these events. The only criticism I've had of them over the past year, I guess, is that the rewards tend to be hit or miss, and generally I haven't brought them to your attention lately because the rewards have been a miss. And in this case, they are a miss again. You get 100 black antimatter and 100 chaos norn stones for doing very little, but it's more about just it's not about the amount of time it takes you to do this versus the reward, because obviously most of these events take you under 60 seconds to do, but it's just the fact that it's a game and they want you to go out of the game to the forums and post stuff that really makes you feel, and listen, this is all digital stuff anyways, it's not real, so they could just add a 0 to the end of both of these and it would be fine. I mean, they're not going to do that obviously, but I mean, they could have just made this tier 3 materials. I'm not sure why in 2022 they're still trying to convince us that tier 2 materials are the most important. I know some of you out there are desperate for tier 2 materials, so you're jumping on this bandwagon for sure, but tier 3 materials are really the bee's knees here, let's be honest. But I didn't make this video to complain about rewards. No, that's for tomorrow's video. For today's video, we are going in a time machine. And we're looking at all of the key art, because this is literally what they want you to do. And despite the rewards, I actually really like this kind of event because it mixes some of my favorite things. MFF artwork, nostalgia, and Marvel in general, with a little bit of lol, where are they now type reactions. So I always remember this one. This is a trip. I always remember this one because I used this thumbnail a lot in my first videos that I released on the channel, and one video in particular where I just put cheating in huge letters across the middle. And of course, to this day, the video has quite a few views, and I say quite a few because my old videos don't actually have that many views by comparison to today's standards. But this one has like 50,000 or 60,000 views, which is probably not due to people being interested in the cheaters in Marvel Future Fight, but rather wanting to become one themselves, and then having the hilarious realization that the video has nothing to do with how to cheat in Marvel Future Fight. So I'm glad that I was able to bait those people and waste just a little bit of their time, because they weren't gonna contribute anything to the game anyways. Again, I didn't notice this the first time around. I didn't plan this in my video reaction. We go from 1.5 to 1.8. What happened? Also, notoriously, this update with Spider-Gwen, Miles, and Silk was touted as like a fan update because apparently we had been asking for Spider-Verse characters for a long time. I mean, in hindsight, yeah, they've done pretty well by the Spider-Verse characters. They gave them pretty decent reworks. Silk has an amazing rework. Obviously, Spider-Man has Spider-Ham has an amazing rework. Even Miles Morales, even though he turned into a villain and got Carnageified, he's really good for Shadowland. He's really good for Shadowland. So yeah, I think, but you know, the other ones need some help, but at least Silk, Spider-Man, and Miles for Shadowland is really good. Then we get 1.9 here. Then we get 2.0. This is when they introduced Tier 2 and they introduced World Boss. Yeah, I think this is when they introduced. Wow. Yeah, we didn't have World Boss until 2.0. Yeah, right, because we didn't have the Black Order. Can you imagine playing this game for a year without World Boss? And the game actually survived. What a trip, dude. What a trip. 2.1 was amazing. Like this is when I gotta say, listen, as much as I like this other key art, and it's not bad at all, and the key art has actually evolved. Like you can see the artist that did these first two, I'm pretty sure didn't do any other ones, at least for a while. And then they changed to this new artist here, who I guess started doing most of them. There's been a ton of artists for Marvel Future Fight, and the coolest thing about it is that a lot of them have gotten so popular. I don't know if it's because of the game, but they've gotten so popular that they've actually graduated to doing like Marvel comics and doing covers and variant covers and stuff like that. You can look them up. I don't want to say any names. I have a couple names in mind, but I don't have them all in mind, so I don't want to say some of them and leave out the rest of them because that would be rude. So I would just look into it. There's actually a Reddit post about this as well, and they list a bunch of the artists there, so I should probably just pull that up as a reference here. That's sort of, you know, where you can find their names here. I think there's a link with a bunch. No, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere here. It's definitely somewhere here. But yeah. So some amazing artists, really amazing artists from Marvel Future Fight, and it shows in the key arts. But really, in my opinion, for 2.1 is where the key art started to get really good. Before that, it's sort of just a bunch of characters doing like a generic pose. It kind of feels like how the old Marvel movies were just like big head, little head in different perspectives at different depths. And now they've gotten a little bit more creative with the artworks. But yeah, the key art starts to get really fire here with some of these. Like these drawings are just like out of control, really good. This was the, oh no, wait. Yo, they skipped it. No way. They had to skip it on purpose. They had to have skipped it on purpose. Okay, so remember before when I was saying like they're missing some of the key arts by accident? I don't think it's an accident, because I was about to say, and one of the comments I was going to make in the video was this was the boycott. But I can't say that because they list the October or November key art, and then this is the January 2018 key art. They purposely left out the November-December key art, which was the Ultimates. And I know what that key art looks like because Blue Marvel's in it. I've used it in the thumbnail. It's Blue Marvel, Ant-Man, and Nova, and I think maybe Quasar's in the key art as well. But they left that one out. No way. They're like, these were dark times in Marvel Future Fight when the community decided to boycott us for gacha, for character gacha chests. So yeah, it's 3.6. That was the first boycott, not the last boycott, unfortunately. We get the Infinity War stuff, which does look really cool, but is also kind of lazy if you think. I don't want to say lazy. Whoever worked on this did a lot of work, but they basically just made one key art and then just hid all of these layers and moved that back layer down. If you see them side by side, it's so obvious that it's just, you know, they didn't have to redo the work at all. And then see that, oh, you know what? I just noticed, bro. Oh, but hang on, this is 4.0, 4.0, 4.0. Okay, so it's not actually different updates. Okay, I overreacted. My bad. But yeah, this is basically just one drawing with different layers showing and hiding. We get Ant-Man. This one, I gotta say, I was really surprised about this one because I didn't expect them to say pleased to beat you. This game has been so scared or just worried about being edgy or, you know, sexualizing in any way or, like, you know, glorifying violence in any way. Satana was a casualty, etc., etc. But there's no blood in the game or anything like that. But yeah, that was the first. I was like, wow, maybe they do have some teeth, you know? Looking back on it, this is probably one of the most mid updates we've had. And this key art is so different from any of the other key arts because it seems like it was 3D generated. It doesn't seem like a drawing. It seems like it's 3D renderings that have some sort of like filter on them. It's very different. I feel like this artwork is very different from everything else. This artwork is amazing because it's very X-Men, but it was so, like, in hindsight, Nightcrawler sucks. And now we don't even care about Master Mold. So yeah, we got the Fantastic Four family. This update was so freaking mid. It was crazy. Like, none of these characters are relevant at all anymore. But I think they sort of knew. They were like, everyone's going to go berserk for Endgame. So we don't really need to try on the updates before and after. So they just threw a bunch of mutants at us. A bunch of paywall mutants. Looking back on it now, like, that's really what they did. You know, they threw in the Jean Grey uniform for a little bit of power creep. But, like, you know, Iceman, Jubilee, Sabretooth, Juggernaut. These were just, like, you know, one and done. We're never going to touch these characters again kind of thing. And then things started getting really good. I'll be honest. This update was a banger. This update was a banger because we also got Galactus World Boss, or Giant Boss Raid. This update was kind of a letdown. This update was, in hindsight, very good. Like, in hindsight, this actually affected the meta a lot because it introduced those 3 P cards, but we just didn't see their value until crafting came around. This update was pretty mid. This update was pretty mid. We sort of went on like a mid spree. Like 4 out of the next 5 updates were quite mid. Even this update was kind of mid because there's just too many like random characters. Not random, but like too many characters that no one really cares about. And way too many uniforms for Captain America. And then we had sort of like another mini. I had like a personal boycott here because I was just sick and tired of paywall, Crystal Wall mutants. Mr. Sinister and Mystique in this, and Professor X in this case. And then this is the start of like pandemic time where we had updates, but you know, everyone was stuck inside, so we just sort of had to deal with it. And they actually, honestly, they actually did a really good job considering that they are doing all this stuff work from home. If we look back, they did a really good job with a lot of these characters, and very few reworks were bad for their time, and even very few of the reworks are bad now. We had a couple of casualties like Amadeus Cho, Red Hulk, and then Blade and stuff like that, but otherwise, we had really, really good reworks. Then here we have the second major boycott, hopefully the last one, with 6.5 with the reforging and the card crafting and the cubes and stuff like that. And then we get into the stuff from last year. I mean, the key arts here are as good as they've ever been, right? As good as they've ever been. These key arts are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. This was the one that was like stitched together. This one is probably the most mid, I would say, just because it's kind of generic. But these, man, the lightning in the background with Doom looks so sick. Love this one. I like how the ring sort of around their heads. Like there's a lot of good details here. This one and this one are probably the most generic. 5.2 and 7.2 and 7.5 are probably the most generic. And I say that knowing that Wolverine looks amazing in this poster, but he looks like he's trying to take a shit, and Cap just looks like he's boring as like he's literally vanilla ice cream. Eternals looks okay, but they're just literally standing there. Spider-Man looks amazing. This one's okay, but I feel like Adam Warlock's head should be bigger. But that's just me. This one's okay. It's very, reminiscent of the show. And then we finally come to Doctor Strange. This is a really good key art, I have to say. It's a very, very good key art. And I like how Wong is sort of just like floating there. So yeah, all you got to do is pick your favorite one. I probably should have explained this at the beginning of the video. Pick your favorite one and then just post that information with your P ID or your player ID. So the example here is like, hey, I like this image because it's the first key art, and then you tell them which key art it is. Like you have to type in the version number. That's why they tell you the version number, and then you have to list your in-game. Is it your in-game name or your player ID? I don't know. You can see down below in the comments. You can sort of get an idea of what, yeah, because it's realistic. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. This was a completely unnecessary fluff video. I know. I'm working on a lot of content right now, just to get real with you guys for a second. I'm working on a lot of content right now, but I can't show you just yet, so you sort of just have to hang in there with me. And in general, we all have to hang in there because we're all just waiting for the next update, because Ancient One and Mordo was kind of mid, but we should be getting sneak peeks soon, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and then we'll see what the next update holds. And what's in store for us, what the next key art is going to be. Ho, ho, ho. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below with your theories on what the next update will be and what your favorite key art was. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.